Oh, it's taking a little bit of time. It's thinking about
Mm.
it.
It's artificially thinking about it.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Based on the meeting transcript, there is some uncertainty regarding the video quality. While one participant expresses confidence that the video will be good, there is no definitive confirmation or detailed discussion about the video's quality. Therefore, the meeting does not provide a clear answer about whether the video will be good or not. That's hilarious.
When we gave it conflicting points of view.
Yeah, obviously. Hey, everyone, and welcome to Why You Still Here. It's been a little bit since we've done this. I feel out of sorts, you
out of
know?
out of sorts.
We haven't recorded since the Wonka video. So, it's been like a couple of weeks. It just
Well,
feels
get those
strange.
training wheels back on, buddy.
Indeed.
So I mean, I get
Because,
well, we could say it's like riding a bike. You never forget. So fuck the training wheels. We'll just throw you on there and see what happens. Leave the nest.
indeed, indeed. Anyway, uh, this is Why You're Still Here, the show that we talk about whatever we want.
Clearly.
And yeah, we're doing it already. Look at that. And today we're talking about
And guess what? Yeah, move your melon. The top 10. You just sink until we hear a giant crash.
now the trouble is going to be to get back up.
God, you're
Ow.
so old.
And tell me about it. Anyway.
Oh, and also the kicker for this one is it's actually going to release in January.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
And that's notable for
Yes.
two reasons. Number one, movies still come out the end of December, so stop posting your fucking video after
I
Christmas.
know. I know. Some of them were even like midway through December.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow,
it
they
was
didn't even get to
really
see Wonka to add it to their favorite list.
what a
Mm-mm-mm.
shame. They didn't get to see Aquaman and the Lost
Again,
Kingdom.
add it to their favorites list.
I know. Yeah, so this is obviously our top 10 of 2023 list. And
Not coming
I
out in
wanted
June.
I wanted to phrase it in a way where all I had to do was just change the bottom next week, so it's like movies of 2023, top 10. And
So
then
he's versatile.
obviously our next one is movies of 2023, bottom 10. I don't know. Trash 10, whatever you want to
I
call
like
it.
Trash 10.
Trash 10's pretty good. It's all about the
All about
you
the
know,
filth that we saw on screen.
well, about that too, but about the why can't I think of the word? It's like my favorite thing. Like you have like
A
a
th
TTT.
a thrashing? Are you giving this a thrashing? What are we talking about?
No, like my
Oh,
titles.
alliteration.
There we go. There we go. See, it's been so long since I've done alliteration that I even forgot what it was called. But ironically, my marker, I did the movies of and then top 10 first, and I say the 2023 for last. I know it doesn't make any sense, but my marker has officially like ran out of ink.
Yeah, you
So
can sort of see. You can definitely tell with the top line.
I look how good that first one looks.
Yeah, the
Like that's
rest is
so
trash. I think
good.
you should just burn it. The
One of
video's undoable now.
definitely I know. I
Speaking
have
of
to
which, for how long we've been talking, I don't even know if this is going to end in the middle of the video.
hopefully. Um, so I have to buy a new marker so it'll be nice and crisp and clear again
Shame.
because you would not have even seen this 2023 if I didn't have another marker that was like a smaller marker that I could go over this one with. Like that's how light it was. Like it's still not good, but at least you can
It's
still see it
passable.
says 2023. So whatever. I can't speak for Lucas's list, but my list, it's a different one. To be honest with you, there is some very good, technically sound movies on this list for sure.
Okay.
But I'm gonna preface it as the nostalgia list more so than anything else. it's stuff that I just liked because I liked it. You know, last year my list was a lot of things that I loved, but they were also just really great movies. This one, I say this because this list might be disputed by some people. That's what I'm saying.
You know what? I have a total feeling that my list also might be disputed by some people. So
Okay.
this isn't the year of nostalgia, and I said it in a previous video, but this is the year of me having complete full reign of the movie theater, basically, with my AMC A-list subscription. Shameless plug. Please give us what do they call that? Sponsor us, AMC. I always vouch for you. So AMC A-list is $20 a month, 3 movies a week, 12 movies a month, all the time. Anything thrills
And
and
on that
chills.
note, let's also talk about Raid Shadow Legends.
You know what game I play every day on my iPad when I'm writing lists for Waish? Raid Shadow Legends, baby.
Insert clip
That they send you.
video they gave you. Yeah, exactly.
I'm not fucking playing it.
Hell no.
Yeah, so for this list, I went on my Apple Wallet, and I do have my physical ticket, so let's not start this conversation. But I went on there, and I'm scrolling, and I just have a list. We'll flash it just really quickly. You can't see. I wrote down every movie that I thought was like, like a 7 and a 10, 7 out of 10 and up, like something that's enjoyable. Because
Yeah.
I had forgotten like more than half the movies that I had seen in the beginning half of the year. I had seen so many. It was like 30 movies, like total this year. It was fucking ridiculous.
Okay.
Some of those were like movies I had seen more than once. And I just put them in order of enjoyment, I guess.
Sure.
I think the top might be a little more debatable, but I mean, honestly, I think this list is pretty good as far as my interests are concerned. So, and I hate prefacing any fucking list with this. Okay, it's not 2009 anymore. A top 10 list is never going to 100% align with yours. These are the movies I enjoyed this year. So, what you can do is leave in the comment section about how we're not talking about the movies enough, and then tell me your top 10 list.
Yeah, let us know what your top
care.
10 is, because my top 10 is probably not going to look like a lot of other people's out there. And I say this because I have at least 2 that stick out to me on my list that were looked at as some of the worst movies of the year by people.
I know one of them that's on the list. 2 of them that are on the list right off the bat.
Yeah,
despite you saying that.
And they were like, people just shat all over these movies, and I'm like, I loved them. And call that nostalgia, call that stupidity, ignorance, I don't know, but I love them, and they're in my top 10. Now, when we get to our bottom 10, that's where the real fun is going to come in, because those are some undeniably terrible movies. But it's sort of like the opposite effect, because something I have in my bottom list, it was very popular this year. Very popular. So, yeah,
I would say like,
and the rest are just going to be fun.
Yeah, the bottom 5 are pretty set, but like when I say I'm not married to the top or the bottom 5, I really am not in this case. Like, they're all enjoyable. I don't know. I have a feeling that after this list, people might say you're not a true movie fan, but and you might actually quit the podcast or just forcibly remove me from it.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm worried about as well. But anyway, like you said, it's our list. It's not your list. It's not saying that these are the greatest movies necessarily of the year. Exactly. It's not definitive.
This is
it's
all
just
enjoyment
we enjoyed
factor.
The most.
And isn't that what movies are supposed to be? I mean, who wants to analyze a movie in a spoiler, non-spoiler review for 2 hours straight? I wouldn't want to do that. That was obviously a knock at us. We do that.
Obviously.
But the people.
Indeed. And we talked about a lot of these movies as well.
Yes, every movie is either going to have a short or a full-fledged review.
Yes. Yes, indeed.
So this is a good year. Unlike, because last year, last thing I'll say about it, these are all theatrical films for me. Last year, there was a few streaming movies and stuff like that in both of the lists. This list is all theatrical.
I have a streaming movie in here. I like to expand my horizons.
Unlike
you know what
me.
I'm saying? Exactly right.
I guess you could say is xenophobic with my movies.
exactly right.
Is it a word that's like blacklisted in the algorithm?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Afraid of people, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think so. Anyway, let's get started, I guess. We're going to start with honorable mentions, right? And then we'll get
Yes,
into
ma'am.
the actual top 10 list, starting with 10, moving on to number 1. And so we won't split up the honorable mentions. We'll just say all of them. So, Lucas,
cool.
Take it away.
Okay, so my third honorable mention, I will say, like I said in the video, I wasn't gonna watch it again. That might be true, but a lot of this stuff, like my rankings or ratings rather for movies tend to either go over or under. I stew on them and then it changes. I'll admit that.
Yes.
This is the end of the year.
Stewy ones in here.
Blue Beetle, I got to put on there. It's the end of DCEU as we know it, and
second to end.
Well, I mean,
last
I guess
one was
just
Aquaman, but yes,
I just meant for the year of 2023 overall, and it's a very enjoyable movie. Not the best, not the worst, but it's good.
Yeah.
I had fun watching it. I enjoyed it.
Very good.
And I forgot. I'm going to keep going. So this was the one that, like, okay, it's in everybody's top 10 list. I would love to put it in my top 10 list. I didn't gush about it when I saw it. I'm still not gushing about it. I love that it's like all practical effects. I love that when you saw this movie, you mentioned film grain and cigarette burns because it was on film. But I got to put Oppenheimer in there. It's a good movie, but I had more fun with everything else that's on this list. Sorry, not sorry. That's probably the one that's going to get us canceled.
I got us covered on that front.
Oh, hell yeah. Okay. Then my last one will be the Mario movie. I really wanted this one to make my top 10,
God.
but the other ones were, again, more fun, but the Mario movie's awesome. Good movie.
I contemplated putting that in my bottom 10.
Really?
Yeah.
I rewatched
still
it recently, and I like it. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
That's good.
See, that's what makes the world go around, people.
Correct. So my honorable mentions are Blue Beetle as well.
Very good.
Obviously, it was there was nothing like particularly outstanding about it. It was it hit all the beats that a lot of superhero movies hit, but it was unique in the fact that it focused more on like the family angle and the Hispanic angle as well. Like I had a lot of fun watching it.
Yeah.
And it's one of those movies you don't hear a lot of people like complaining about. They might not be raving about it, but they're not doing a whole lot of complaining either. It's not going to end up in any bottom 10s. And then my second one is Talk to Me. Now, this gets in my honorable mentions simply because of how unique it was. So I couldn't, in all good conscience, put this in my top 10 because I did not enjoy it that much. But I do respect it as a very. I do.
What?
I do. Did you see that? I do respect it as that same thing happened to me during my solo video too. It's my hook. That's so funny. It is. I need to find a way to turn that off if it's possible.
That is pretty funny.
Anyway, I can appreciate it in how unique it was because it was one of the more unique horror movies I've seen.
Oh yeah.
Throughout the year, and yeah, I don't know. That's really it though. I guess let's get into our top 10. So starting with number 10.
All right, number 10 is going to be Thanksgiving. It made the list.
Interesting.
There's like almost half of these are like horror related. I love horror movies. You guys know that we do as a whole. But no, it was a solid movie. I'm glad that even though I don't see like a whole lot of future in a sequel, I'm glad that there's at least something new that people are excited about that isn't Art the Clown. And it's just nice also to have Eli Roth kind of, have his name out again. Just cool. It's kind of like a nostalgia thing. There you go, nostalgia. Kind of reminded me of the Hostel days. Though
yeah, nothing
not
like
in the same
Hostel,
vein. Yeah. But no, the movie ended up making it on there. It was just different enough. Just different enough because you have Killer Dennis movies, all the Christmas horror movies. You don't have too many Thanksgiving ones, so
yeah.
And Patrick Dempsey put him back out there possibly for Scream 7, so like there you get that with it. So I put it in there.
Yeah. Awesome. I feel bad now, so I have a third honorable mention, and it's Thanksgiving.
Very good.
Yeah, I liked it. It was fun. It just, I don't know. It didn't seem super like, you know, it didn't rewrite the horror genre or anything. Let's say so.
No,
but it was fun though. It was a lot of fun. And I did contemplate potentially putting it in the list, but I went with another.
That's why I hit number 10 with that one. I had to throw it in there.
Indeed. I'm happy you did.
Thank you.
With my number 10, it's a movie that almost missed out on the list because it's not really my kind of movie, but I did have a ton of fun with it in theaters when I saw it, and maybe even more so than Thanksgiving. I guess it was more unpredictable, and we did an entire video about it as well, kind of. Yes, whatever, you'll see. Evil Dead Rise is what it is.
Very good. I didn't think that was gonna make your list, to tell you the truth.
It's one of those movies, like I said, I have some that I stewed on a little bit. And sure. If it was like this list released like the next day after I saw it, it probably would not have made the list. But stewing on it, reflecting on it, putting it in perspective of all the other movies of the year and whatnot, and it was like, okay, it'll fit onto the list. It'll be the last one on the list, but it'll be on the list.
I'm glad it made it though. That's good.
Yeah, it was fun. A little maybe too gross, which is my issue also with Talk to Me, but but still a lot of fun. So, and they didn't kill the cat,
Very good.
In Talk to Me, they didn't kill the dog. So, you know what? You get like a check mark,
there you go,
like a gold star
yep, you
from me in those situations. But yeah, that's it. Obviously go check out our video. I can't remember if we did a full-on video review of it or if it was just the Evil Dead ranking. And I think that might have been what it was. Like,
I'm pretty sure, because I did a short for it.
Yes, you did.
Sure I did.
You did. And you said it was the only good possession movie that came out.
Oh, yeah. Tune in for the bottom 10 list. We'll elaborate further.
Do that. Yeah.
This was not the year for possession horror movies.
No. Evil Dead Rise is, I mean, do you want to, yeah, you can Talk to Me a possession movie as well. Yeah. Just not demon possession. Though you could get into semantics about Evil Dead too, if that's demon, but whatever. Turned out it was the only good possession movie of the year, basically.
Yeah.
When you put it all in perspective. So.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, we spent too much time on number 10, I guess. But number 9.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. So number 9, this was a movie. When I saw it, I thought it might have been higher up in the list. It's not. But being that I'm just so in touch with my feminine side, I had to put Barbie on the list. What a damn enjoyable movie, because going into it I had heard all like the what is it? Is it the red pill? Is that the one that you swallow that makes you an incel that hates women? Like, there was just this whole fervor online, like with these incel guys that were saying how, like, it's all about hating men, it's all against the patriarchy, blah blah blah. The same feminist rhetoric. The movie is not that, like, in any capacity. It pokes fun at both genders equally and pretty well, might I add. But yeah. I think the biggest thing about the movie, because I rewatched it again, that just stands out is that damn set design. Holy shit. It looks like you're really on like a Mattel playset. The movie's funny, all the acting is pretty good, but it was just a surprise movie, because if you would have told me I was going to be seeing a Barbie movie and like thoroughly enjoyed it, I would have never fucking believed you. Same with other movies on this list.
Sure.
So Barbie had to get in there. It's getting a sequel. I don't know how I feel about that, but as its own standalone movie, all the performances are pretty damn good.
Indeed. My number 10.
Number 9.
My number 9, rather. Let's see if I can zoom it in enough. I don't think I can. Oh, God. Oh, maybe. Okay, forget it. It's Barbie as well.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. So it was very enjoyable. We did do a video on that. We did a video on
a
Barbie,
feature.
Oppenheimer, and Haunted Mansion. So go check that out if you want to hear our specific thoughts. But yeah, it was a very funny movie, very cleverly written. And I did not get the criticism at all. If you want to criticize like, oh, it just didn't grab me, or maybe some parts were boring or whatever. I'm not saying it is, but if that's what you want to criticize, that's fine. That's fair game. But to criticize that it was sexist towards men, I didn't get that at all from it. Like, not even a little bit.
I love calling out like the feminist double standard a lot. So for me as that kind of person to like see none of that, you're really fucking grasping at straws here. You're reaching.
Massive reaching. And we work with somebody as well that believed that rhetoric. So,
yeah, what that tells me is that you're just insecure.
Must be incredibly insecure to find something like, where it doesn't even exist.
And the last thing I'll say, it didn't even occur to me, but like I had never seen people excited to go see a movie, right? We work at a restaurant.
Yeah.
All of July, was it not just crowds of people wearing pink every Friday and Saturday, even throughout the weekday?
Yes.
This movie just took the world by storm for a month. And like, it was just really cool to see people wanting to go back out to the theater. And not only that, but dressing up and making an event out of it. Like that's awesome. Thank you for doing something good for cinema without just making a good movie. It's like even I wore a pink shirt when I saw it. I know Brandon did too.
Yes. In my mind and in my soul, it was pink. Yeah, it's always great, no matter what the movie is. And we got it with Barbenheimer. It's always great to see people going back out to the movie theater. I will always love that. So, yes, number 8.
So, Saw 10.
Okay.
Would have never thought I would have enjoyed Saw movies since 2007 when the third one came out. That was the last time I ever gave a shit about Saw. Every other one in between, I'm gonna say it, they're just junk. I'm not like married to the character of Jigsaw. It's a good one. I love the idea. The original Saw is fantastic. But like I said in my review, this movie had a really good plot where it flips everything around on John, and it was different enough to where I thought, this is some good shit. And then if they're gonna make Saw 10-2 or Saw 11, whatever they're gonna call it, I don't really care.
Saw 2.
Okay, wait, are you serious?
No, I'm just saying Saw 2 is the movie that follows that movie, right?
Okay. So I'm just
is that movie set between the first and second one, right?
I thought they made it like ambiguous to where the other ones could have happened, but they just kind of ignored it because there was that Hoffman reference at one point.
They did. I mean, this is coming from somebody like that doesn't know much about the Saw franchise at all. Like I've only ever seen the first 3, and the first and second one are the only ones that I ever liked. 10, I haven't seen it. I'm sure that I like it. I didn't break my ass to see it because I didn't think that it was going to end up in my top 10. I just didn't think that it would. I mean, maybe it would have. I really don't know. I will see it. Don't worry. If anybody's watching me say this and they're like, no, I will. But that's what I kept hearing from everybody, was that it took place between the first and second one. That's what everybody said that. So I have to assume that that's the case.
So much older and so much visibly older. I don't
you have
know
to kind of like. So is Tobin Bell. Tobin Bell went from looking like an old man to looking like an older man. Yeah, exactly. Like he's always perpetually looked like an 80-year-old. So it makes it a little easier with him. But Yes, Amanda is very obviously older. I mean, I saw the photos of her obviously in,
Yeah.
I actually had to grab because I did a short for your video, right? The introduction. And so I had to grab that green from a photo of her in order to color grade that video. So I was looking at that photo of her and I'm like, obviously,
just
yeah,
looks
she
a little
looks
older and more
considerably
bloated.
older. Yes. But I think that's just one of those things that you just have to ignore.
You have to
they didn't
accept
have
it.
the money to de-age her or anything. So yeah.
But yeah,
plus
that was
John
a
is
curveball.
dead after the second one, isn't he?
No, he's in the third one. The whole central plot of that is he needs somebody to fucking do a
I get
brain
he's
tumor
in
operation on him.
But so does he die in the third one then? What one does he die in? It must be the third one because I saw him die.
I don't even fucking remember.
I swore it was the second one, but let's say it is the third one. Then this movie
because
has
the
take
third
place
one,
between
I know
the first and second one.
Him and Amanda have to kidnap the surgeon or whatever to perform that brain operation. That's like one of the most standout scenes of the movie because it actually looks like a real like brain operation.
Okay.
But anyway, yeah. So Saw 10.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So he died in the third one. Yep. So this movie has to take place between the first and second one by its very
there you
nature.
Go. It's a requel.
Yes. Let's see here. My number 8 is a movie that I thought I was gonna like a lot more, and I just didn't. I liked it. Obviously, it's in my top 10. I just thought it was going to be like number 2 or 3. And that is Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Now, the first one was a movie that very much was in the first 3 spots. Like, I absolutely adore Into the Spider-Verse. And this one was, I thought it was going to be more of that exact same sort of thing. And it is and it isn't. It ends on a weird cliffhanger. And it's just kind of like, okay, so it's like forces you, whatever. It's an incomplete story. That's all I'm saying. So because of that, it's a little disappointing. But that being said, I have another incomplete story on my list and it's much further up. So I don't know.
It's the enjoyment factor we talked about.
Don't know what to tell you. Must be the enjoyment factor. It was good. I thought it was going to be a little bit better, but what are you going to do?
Can't
the third one. I'm holding out hope that the third one will be my number 1 of this year.
It ends up in the bottom 10.
Yeah, that would be hilarious. Yes, indeed. So number 7,
Evil Dead Rise. Of course, if it made it into yours, it was going to make it into mine because I was more, not like overly more glowing, but definitely much more glowing about the movie than you were, especially in the ranking overall. But no, I had a damn fun time with it, and I definitely have, because like I said, Evil Dead is one that I don't have like childhood nostalgia for. It's like teenagehood nostalgia for, So like I can kind of separate the two franchises. Well, at this point now it's a franchise to kind of see where they're going with it. It's Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell with creative control. So I respect what they're doing, and I so much say that I didn't love it. I really, really liked it. It's a fun movie.
Yeah,
damn good time.
This might get me canceled, so I'm sorry if I take you down with me. But one of the things I respected so much about Evil Dead Rise, other than the fact that they didn't kill the cat, which
I know what you're gonna say,
was a big one for me, is the fact that there is a transgender character in the movie, and they don't pull any attention to it. They don't focus on it.
They don't even make it like a nod in the movie for like people. If it's like it's not even the way it should be done at
absolutely
casting, like casting done at this level, whatever Matt Damon's quote is, not casting at the writing level. That's what it is, something like that. But yeah, totally. I had no idea until you mentioned it after the fact. And then even watching the movie again, you really can't tell. I love it.
Yeah, no,
they don't politicize it. That's what we like.
if you're gonna transition, isn't that your goal is to actually become that gender? And so it's like, you why bring it up? Like that is a boy, you know, that is the son of the movie. So, you know, and I really respected the hell out of that decision. So, you know,
see,
good
so much
job.
so, in fact, I forgot that was a thing until you just brought it up again. Yep.
Yeah. Yes,
very good.
indeed.
Number 7, lady.
Very good. My number 7 is a movie that Lucas hated. No, I'm kidding. It's Oppenheimer. This is I didn't like when I first saw it. This was another Stewie one. I don't think I have another. Nope. The rest of my list were ones that immediately made it onto my list. But I stewed on this one a little bit. I didn't ever like dislike the movie. I've always really liked it and respected the hell out of it. Lucas mentioned the whole fact that it was all practical effects that were in it. It's crazy. It's crazy. You know, it's crazy. But you know, I even saw a video where they tried to replicate some of the effects that were in the movie, and it was such a cool video. And it was just like, wow, like the particles like accelerating and stuff like that was like different types of oils and dyes and stuff in water that they sped up and then filmed with a film camera, whatever, I don't know. But I had the you know, the benefit, let's say, of seeing it in film. Lucas didn't see it in film, I don't think. And
saw it in Dolby, so nope.
Yeah, saw it in Dolby. I didn't. I went to the what was the millimeter of it? The like the actual
40 millimeter.
Is that what it is? Whatever. I went to the actual film showing of it, and it was so cool. It brought me right back to being a kid, because I completely forgot how you do see like the pops and the hair and the grain and the, you know, and the cigarette burns and all this kind of stuff that you think that would take away from the experience, but digital is just too clean. And so it added so much to it. And the fact that it's supposed to be a movie that is back in the day, you know, during World War II, and it just was like, I don't know. It just felt so good. And Cillian Murphy knocks it out of the park.
Oh, yeah.
Robert Downey Jr. knocks it out of the park. Like, what the ass? what the ass? Like, what was that? That it was. He's always been great. Don't get me wrong, but that was like a performance that came like right out of left field. Like he was fantastic in the movie. Everybody was. Everybody. Josh Hartnett was in that movie and completely became somebody else as well, even though it was a much smaller character. Like everybody just completely transformed themselves for that movie, and I respect it so much because of that. So
very good.
There you go. Number 6.
There you go. Number 6, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, baby. I had to make it to the list. What a shocker. Just the other day, somebody asked at work if it was good. Hell yeah, it was a damn good movie. Way better than Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Why are you even talking about Kingdom of the Crystal Skull?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Absolutely. That was another one that I saw with my dad, because he's a massive Harrison Ford fan. And every time I see a movie with my dad, it always somewhat elevates it, because he never goes out. But no, that was and even he liked it, and he hates anything that's new. So if he likes it, usually that shows that there's something behind it that's pretty good. So no, that was a fun movie, and I don't know if we're ever gonna get another one. I don't know if they said it, but we got the video game coming out for us Xbox. Told you could play it.
Yeah,
if you're
it's
only
still
if
not
you're
the
good.
Same.
And I swear to God, if I let you play that game and all you do is bitch about the Xbox controller, I will never let you borrow anything again.
I mean, that's a given. Of course I am.
Where's the circle button? There's an X, but it's in the wrong spot. Brandon, shut the hell up. Yeah, but anyway. It made it to the list. And I know you're happy about that. You'll be happy about the whole rest of this list.
Good shit. Yeah, that was one of the movies that people absolutely destroyed and thought it was just terrible.
Oh, I
and
loved it. Okay, I didn't love it. I really liked it. It was a lot of fun.
I loved it. I thought it was great. Hint at what's coming next, but not next, but yeah, next. Not now, next. Anyway. Ding. Anyway, so my number 6 is my one streaming movie on the list. It was a Peacock exclusive, and it was Mr. Monk's Last Case, a Monk movie. Now, Monk is one of my absolute
TV show.
It is.
It's based. They loosely based it on your life.
Yes, this is correct. Now, I don't know if I've ever talked on this show about it before. I've loved Monk since I was in high school. I had a friend that watched it. Like, I was a little late on the bandwagon. It never was something that I thought was going to interest me. And because I'm like, oh, it's a police procedural, that kind of thing. And I was being forced to watch it one Friday night. I was spending the night at his house, and I fell in love. But not only did I fall in love, I found out a name to the issue. I don't know why I'm laughing. It's really not funny, but I found out a name to the issues I had been dealing with since I was 3 years old. And that was obsessive compulsive disorder. It's because of this show that I knew what I had, that I had been struggling with my entire life, and that I wasn't actually psychotic, because that was the whole thing. Like, it's pretty similar with a lot of people that have like OCD. You don't talk about it when you're young. You deal with that, and you think that you're going to be locked away forever
that sounds horrifying.
If you tell somebody what you're dealing with, because you think of some really crazy stuff, right? And it was just so reassuring to be like, oh, this is what it is. Like, I have a name to my monster now, and there's something I can do about it. And there's a show with a character in it that's just like me. Like, that was huge for me. And that's not even taking into account how good the show is. Like, on top of all of that bonus stuff, like, Tony Shalhoub is phenomenal in the show. Absolutely nails the character of Monk. I love him so much. I have his autograph on my wall. Of course. Super nice guy. But I just love the show. It's the only show besides maybe like Friends that I have watched through about 5 or 6 times. The
Jesus
entire
fucking
series.
Christ.
Yes. The only difference between Monk and Friends is that Friends, I don't usually make like an actual effort of starting at episode 1 and going all the way through, right? Like, I'll watch it. I just always watch it. Like, if it's on TV or whatever, I just always watch it, like Seinfeld. Monk, I've made efforts many times, like I said, 5 times, to start at episode 1 and go all the way through to the last episode. And I've done that many, many times. And it used to be available on Netflix. And that was a beautiful time in my life, because this is something that never went to Blu-ray. The show never went to Blu-ray. That's it. Only DVD, even though it was shot in HD.
That sucks.
100% is shot in widescreen HD. But nope, it's always ever been on DVD. But it used to be on Netflix. It left Netflix, and I had to scramble for how I was going to watch it. So I ended up buying the entire DVD set, which I still have, and I love it. It's great. But yeah, now it's in it's on Peacock, and it's on Amazon Prime, and whatever. It's all over the place. But it was such a nice surprise to have this movie be made. I think because of the success of the Psych movies, there's 3 Psych movies, that they decided to venture into this, and they found a way in with COVID. Like, that was their way into a new story with the character, and it's done so well. And I watched it very much like another movie on this list the whole time, just like just with a smile on my face the whole time. So I loved it. But also, rumor has it there's more coming. It's called Monk's Last Case, Mr. Monk's Last Case, but spoiler alert, it's probably not.
It's not.
And there's going to be more movies. So yeah, so it was like, honestly, it was like a 90-minute episode, or 2 new episodes released since they were 45 minutes. So
very good.
So it was good. It was good. Number 5.
That is gonna have to be Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning, Part 1. Another movie that I wouldn't have thought I was gonna put on my list, and it was one that I had to catch in Dolby like a couple days before it left, because Brandon was raving about that one particular scene in particular, which was phenomenal in Dolby. That was another movie where I can't attest, but Brandon says it's the same thing as a Top Gun situation, where you're not going to have the same experience if you watch it in digital or Dolby. Caught it in Dolby, and damn was I glad that I did, because that was just one of the, like, what a definition. Like, same thing with Indiana Jones. I kind of almost lump them together. That's why they're next to each other in this. It's another franchise thing. You kind of know what you're going to get into, but they did it well, and it was just a fun blockbuster movie. Fun summer blockbuster movie. Yeah. And it's part 1 of 2, so we're getting more. And Tom Cruise is more entertaining than he's ever been. So, like, good shit. Good for him for having this resurgence lately. But no, that was another good one, and excited for part 2.
Yeah, me too.
And then that's just an excuse for another thing to have to get the 4K set. Brandon has them all on Steelbook.
I do.
And that was quite the impossible mission to find those.
Yes, it was. My God. Yeah, it was easier for Tom Cruise to get on a motorcycle and drive it over the side of a cliff than it was for me to get, that set in good condition. But to add insult to injury, I go through all this effort to get 6 of them, right? I think it's 6 of them. Fallout was 6. This is 7. To get them all with perfect spines and whatnot and blah, blah, blah. And all the spines are this like silvery kind of dealio, there's silver backdrop with like red lettering on top of it, whatever. This movie came out and I got it on Steelbook, and the whole thing is just red. Like, it doesn't even follow. It doesn't even follow the same like theming, which is funny because same thing with Indiana Jones. They released all of those, all 4 of them, with the exact same theming
in a set,
and then this one separately. But yes,
there's some set I saw in Best Buy that has all 4 of them on 4K, and I'm pretty sure they weren't Steelbook. I don't know, but it was a set of all of them.
There is a Steelbook set of them they're the atrocious white ones. Those come together.
That's what I'm thinking of.
And then they had new ones that use the original posters for the front of them, and they're like gorgeous. And they all have a very specific theme to all be amongst each other, right? And you think for sure they're going to keep that same theme for the 5th one. No, they didn't.
Bad Steelbook.
Bad. Yeah. So my number 5 is, leading right into it from that, is Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Freddy
Krueger stole his hat.
Yes. Anyway, so this movie was like panned by critics and audience alike, and I don't get it, like, at all. Like, this was so much, like, as I'm watching it, I'm like, this is it. They have made a modern Indiana Jones movie that is on par with the originals. Like, this is it. They did it. And I'm like, I'm so excited, because I'm like, they're gonna be excited too. Like, everybody's gonna love this movie. People are gonna finally shut up and be like, well, Disney actually did something right, And then I walk out of the theater and I find out, no, people hate it too. And some people even say that it's worse than Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. And I'm just like, what are you talking about? Like, is it just because Steven Spielberg didn't direct it? Is it just because there's a lead character in it that's a woman? Like,
it ruined my childhood.
Yeah, ruined your child. Everybody's like, oh, she cucks Indy the whole movie. Indy's just a bitch the whole time, and he's just
it's like 65,
just a wimp, and it's just like, just stop it. It was a very, very enjoyable movie. There was one scene that was a little bit of a hurdle for me to get over because it verges into territory we've never had before, but still, it was like whatever. And I very much so enjoyed it. So whatever. Number 4.
The Flash. I knew from, at least because it came out in June, right? I knew by July that this movie was going to be in my top 5 because I went back to the theater to see it. And what does the top hat have to do with anything in this case?
It was there.
Good as excuse of any to have the top hat. No, but I went and saw the movie again, and then when I got it on 4K, I could not make any concessions, and I had to get the Steelbook. And I probably watched the movie like 5 times. I watched it with other people, multiple people, and they all love it after I watched it. You know, it's I don't know. The hate for this movie makes no fucking sense. Sure, it has its issues at points, but it was never a dull moment. I loved almost everything they were throwing at me in that movie. And God, it was what started it was Brandon's like, oh, well, it's the continuation of Zack Snyder's Justice League. So I'm like, oh, hell yeah, now I got to go see it. And then I just became just enthralled with this movie. I was on my way home from the theater listening to All Right by Supergrass, right? That's the band, because they play that song when he first gets his powers. And I'm like, damn, I fucking love this movie. That was the moment where I'm like, I really like this movie. This is cool. I love the little stoner flashes, I call them. Because it's almost like, how many times do you want to, in hindsight, slap your younger self and tell him to shut the fuck up and just listen to me for a change? You know, it's like an introspective kind of thing. I always feel like I want to do that to myself. So it's like cool to see it on screen. I've told that to Brandon. When there's like heavy content on screen, it takes me away from my problems and I can project it onto other people in a fake setting. So it's fine. We're not going to have a psychology session here, but no, I love The Flash. That was a great movie. Awesome movie. I'm so fucking angry that it's not getting a sequel. I don't care what you say about Ezra Miller. The movie was awesome. Whatever. Yeah, The Flash, number 4. It had to make it. Great movie.
It is great. It is great. Yeah. And people that also pan that one so much so that it didn't even sort of make even like half its money back. You don't know what you're talking about.
No, you don't.
My number 4 is Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. And it was good.
We've talked about
it. Yes, indeed. It was I don't think we did a video on it for whatever reason. It was just too much was going on at the time, I think. That's not an indictment of the quality of the movie whatsoever. Just sometimes we just flat out just don't have the time to do something. And I think that might have been the case with that one. Yes, please. Well, this will be our full-time job, and then we'll get things out like willy-nilly, but whatever. It was a lot of fun. But that all of it's good, but that one scene in particular is like pulse pounding, so good. And Tom Cruise he's fucking awesome. You know, say what you will about his personal life. But yeah, exactly. And yes, I don't agree with his religion and Scientology and all that kind of stuff, but
I'm not here to talk about his religion. I'm here to watch a movie that he made. So
exactly right. And the character Ethan Hunt is amazing. You know, I may not love Tom Cruise in his personal life, but I love Ethan Hunt in his personal life. And so yeah, and it's just, you know, I was nervous how this was going to stack up to Fallout, because Fallout is like undeniably like the best. And honestly, the first time I saw it, I was a little let down. And I was just like, oh, like Fallout was just so good. And I was like, this is what I was worried of. This wasn't going to stack up, but everybody was singing its praises to the point where I'm like, well, I'm going to see it again with my dad anyway. So let me go in with more of an open mind. And I loved it that second time around. Like I was somehow blown
Yeah,
away
maybe we
by
got to
it.
stop
Like,
being so critical sometimes.
yeah, I was just like, what did I not see that first time around? And it was just like, I had to just go in with a different mindset. And I was just like, holy hell, I cannot wait for the sequel. The whole ending is badass too. Like it's so much of it is so good and badass. And the fact that it's about a rogue AI as well. We've got a rogue AI in here. But it's just so it's very timely and
for sure.
And the movie was written and filmed completed before AI even really took off to the point that it is now anyway. So it was like it was all by happenstance, and I can't wait for the sequel because it continues the same story for the first time ever in the series. It's a part 1 and part 2, and they weren't filmed back to back either. They weren't filmed as one long movie. They were actually 2 separate productions. So
yeah, it's cool to have something serial out of it.
It is. I agree. Cereal. This tastes like Tom Cruise. Anyway,
what does he taste like?
Adrenaline and sadness. Anyway, so it's salty. Whatever. That's it. It's a good movie. If you haven't seen it, watch it, but be prepared that your experience probably won't be as good as it would have been if you saw it in theaters. You did it to yourself. That's all I'm saying. Bad.
Bad audience. Bad.
Well, it won't do it. Oh, there we go.
I don't get it.
That's crap.
Yeah, this is crap.
Put it up closer to the screen.
Maybe I have a malformed thumb or something.
Of course.
Anyway, so
number 3.
When I say this number 3, I already know what you're obviously going to appreciate the fact that it's on here, but I know what you're going to say. But I chose A Haunting in Venice as my 3rd favorite film of the year.
Interesting.
I was just going through the movie list, and it was one that I kind of forgot about. I was thinking about it, and I'm like, I already was respecting Kenneth Branagh, before I had watched this movie. I saw it, it had the thrills and chills banner, but it wasn't what I was expecting it to be.
On this
I know.
Well.
And I still didn't watch the other ones, but now that I put it on the list, obviously I have to. But I just thought this was it's the only movie of the year besides Oppenheimer where I can say it feels like a period kind of piece. I didn't see Napoleon, sorry, whatever. But it felt like of its time and where it's supposed to be. The atmosphere was creepy. It had that great level. And I said it in the review of like, am I really going crazy? Is he going crazy? What's going on here? It had me on the edge of my seat. And it was like a detective horror movie. And it was different enough to where it had to be on there. I caught off guard. And especially knowing that there's more that I'm going to have to watch by the end of this year. So I'll never get around to it. But no, that was a nice surprise. And it just had to, like the other movies, did I have more fun with, I guess? Sure. But it's just something artistically creepy about that movie.
Yeah.
There's just something about it.
I really liked it, of course. And there was a lot of movies that I liked during the year. Hell, I liked Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. I have a whole video about things that are just okay, in my opinion. Go check it out. It's a good one. I'm very proud of the video. Anyway, so I really liked it, but I would have myself, thrown it into just, it was good. It was serviceable. It was okay. So it didn't make my top 10 list or honorable mentions, but that's not to say that I didn't like it, because I very much so did like it, and I'm happy
and that's what
that
these lists
you
are
put
all
it on
about.
your top 10. That's great. I just, I don't know, but you're right, absolutely. It's very visually
Atmospheric as
stunning,
fuck. That's the word I'm
atmospheric,
looking for.
very
That's
much
exactly
so.
the word I'm looking for.
Absolutely. And I'm worried that we're not going to get a fourth one, unfortunately, because it just didn't do well enough at the box office.
And that's a shame.
It is a shame.
I love movies that make you skeptic of the paranormal. And man, damn, yeah. And it was one, like I said, I didn't really think twice about it after I saw it, but it was when I looked at the
Yeah.
ticket, comparing it to like everything else that I saw, I'm like, you know what? Kenneth Branagh, you keep doing you.
Yeah.
Keep doing you, Gilderoy.
Well, it's good just because Kenneth Branagh has the character of Hercule Poirot, just down to such a science, and he's very good at the directing of these movies, and just at the casting and everything is just the writing, whatever, you name it. It's all so very good. It was like cherry on top the whole, paranormal thing or being skeptical of it. But then the movie takes a massive turn in the opposite of that anyway. I don't want to spoil it if people haven't
you can
seen
find that out
but
in our video. We talk about the ending.
Indeed.
As we do.
It's like it has the question of like, is the paranormal real or not real? And it kind of definitively answers it within the last like 5 minutes of the movie, which I had an issue with. That was one of the things that I did have an issue with when we talked about it. I'm like, oh, that was kind of out of left field. Interesting. So much so that Lucas was under the impression it was like a dream sequence or something, whatever. So go check that out. See the movie first and then watch our video.
Buy it on physical media so that way you get more sales.
Indeed do that. But yeah, good movie. We're in number 3, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, my number 3 is like the last thing I ever expected I was gonna like. We have a video on it. It's like our most popular video in the last like 3 months, and it took YouTube by storm. It took our channel by storm for sure. But and it's weird too, because we did this video and it had already been out by this point by like a month. I really thought that it wasn't going to, I really thought that it wasn't going to take off at all, and then it did massively. But biggest surprise of the year, Godzilla -1.
Oh yeah, that's a huge surprise of the year.
Such a surprise. And I mean, I was just blown away by it. I hope that they have a steelbook coming out for it. It deserves it. And give it to us, and give it to us now. I want Godzilla -1, and I want it now on steelbook.
It's my money. Though, yeah, that's what it's my money. I was trying to think what that commercial was. It's my money and I need it now. Yep.
Yeah, I think is it I need it now, or is it I want it now?
Maybe it is I want it now, but it's something about needing your money and wanting it now.
It Whatever. Is J.G. Wentworth. You may have an annuity, but you need cash now. Call J.G. Wentworth. 877 cash now. 877 cash now. 877 cash now. Give help, thousands will help you too.
Jesus.
One lump sum of cash we will bring to you. If you get long-term payments, but you need cash now. I couldn't sing the whole thing.
That disgusts me. I'd like to think that you listen to this on the way to work and you sing along with it and you practice it.
Yep, I do. No, that's how many times I've heard that commercial. Anyway, whatever. I love it. I don't know anything about J.G. Wentworth, something about an annuity or whatever, but you better believe I will go through them if I ever need them. Anyway,
so yes. They can be our next sponsor.
Please.
Our first sponsor.
I would love to sing through all of that again and mean it like I just did, but whatever. So Godzilla -1, it was a huge surprise. Great movie, and I loved it. So I look forward to the English dubbed version because I think it's going to be hilarious.
Me too.
But yeah, so number 2, we're down to the wire.
I know. I only got 2 movies left, Brandon, and I think you know what the only 2 that I haven't mentioned yet are. Oh no. We're not on number 1 yet. Take that off.
Well, I know what one of them is for sure. I don't know if I know what the other one is. Tell me.
My number
Oh,
2,
I know. I do. I know what it is.
You know what? Yeah, you just don't know the order of them, but now you will, because number 2 is Talk to Me. This was a movie I pretty much gushed about it when I saw it. They're Australian. That's already a first point for you. You know, if you don't know, I have this strange love for the Australian accent. It's very strange. Hey Siri, how's the weather outside today?
Strange.
She's talking on my AirPods now.
That's crap.
Stop talking.
All you do is just disconnect the Bluetooth on it.
Oh, no, it picked it up through my Mac. Whatever. Anyway, she has an Australian voice.
Oh, I guess that makes sense.
There's a video playing, though, in the background. What the fuck? Hold on.
Hey, Siri, what's the weather outside?
It's currently hazy and 34 degrees.
So
mine's Irish. British.
Oh, I couldn't even really tell. Anyway,
yes. Hey Siri, tell me a joke. Wait, read it though. It just put it up on the screen.
I hate when it does that.
I hate that too.
Siri needs to be completely redesigned from the ground up. Probably 100%. Using AI.
Hey Siri, tell me a joke.
They say you'll never go hungry at the beach because of the sandwiches everywhere.
Hear that? Everywhere?
Yeah, I heard that part.
Everywhere. I love it. Lucas has a thing for Australian accents. I have I have a thing for Irish accents. I think that there is nothing sexier than an Irish accent. I'm not even joking. So there's something about that.
We feel exactly the same, but with different accents. You take a woman that's a 5 out of 10, make her speak Australian, have an accent. Yes. That's probably an additional 2.5 to 3 points of attractiveness.
Rebecca Ferguson in Dr. Sleep.
Now you know what Brandon falls asleep to.
Because she plays this character called Rose the Hat, and she's Irish, and it's like, that's what I'm talking about right there.
So Australian directors, Australian cast made by YouTubers. You think it sounds like it could be a shit show. The movie does have some heavy content in there. It's different enough. It's a really cool concept. I wouldn't really say it's possession in the same way the other movies that we talked about this year, but I mean, you could almost kind of call it like that. But I love that they abuse this thing like it's drugs. They build up a tolerance. They got to do it longer. Mm-hmm. They just love it. I mean, it's great. It's like a commentary within a horror film. And like I told Brandon, when there's something heavy like that, you can just kind of get away from the own shit in your life. And it was just a surprise. They're going to make a sequel, of course, and I don't really want to see that.
Doesn't make sense to me.
But Talk to Me is awesome. Definitely another surprise hit. I didn't expect it to be like a good horror movie. I thought it was going to be like just decent. But no, that was a damn good horror movie. My favorite horror movie of the year.
Awesome.
And my second favorite film of the year.
Very good. I wish I felt that strongly about it.
Well, so Brandon saw it like 7 months after the hype. So he probably expected it to be much better than it was, maybe because everybody's been talking about it so much.
Everybody's been saying it's so good, and I could not find a single negative video about it on YouTube. Not that I'm negative about it, but I wanted to hear somebody have some of the same criticisms I had with it. And I really couldn't find that, unfortunately. But everybody thinks it's like the greatest thing since sliced bread. And I'm like,
and
yeah.
this is where you realize for the first time that yes, you can be wrong. No, I'm just kidding, everybody.
Yeah. No, I had that crisis of faith during The Last Jedi when there was actually people out there that loved it. I was like, wait, what? I'm so confused. Because I thought everybody hated it, and then it turned out that wasn't really true. It's like a 60-40 kind of situation. But yeah, it was a super heavy movie. I didn't know it was going to be so heavy, and I was not prepared for that. I thought it was going to be much more lighthearted, and it wasn't at all. And I just thought, without spoiling anything, some of the stuff that Lucas was referring to, like when they're using this hand like drugs, I thought there was some cringiness during those moments, but whatever. That's just me. But I'm proud of the directors, mostly because I've always just known them as Raka Raka, and they're really that, like, that's how I've always known them. So
oh, that's who made this movie.
Yeah, I told you.
I didn't like. Sure, of course, statute of limitations, but
no, we had a whole conversation about it where I'm like, don't you know about this Ronald McDonald, like the fucked up Ronald McDonald on YouTube?
Oh my God.
And you're
holy shit. Okay, so stop talking. I was trying to rack my brain as to like the time period of the popularity of that video. I completely forgot that you brought it up because of that. I completely remember the beginning of the whole. Yeah, okay. Whatever, yes.
Anyway, if you've ever seen a fucked up Ronald McDonald on YouTube, which everybody has, it's, at work when I did it, I was like talking like, and Lucas was like, hey, you need to be quiet, you're talking too loud. That you can hear it on the floor. And then all of a sudden the next day, can't remember if I sent you one of the videos. I think I did. I sent you a few of the videos, and you're like, okay, I was wrong. You couldn't have done it any other way. That's exactly how the Ronald McDonald sounds. And I'm like, I know, but that's how he sounds. He like runs around. He's like kicking people's ass. There's like really bad violence where he's like cutting people up and shit, murdering kids and stuff. And he just like, it's like, it's all super violent. He's like trying to kick people's ass and they're kicking his ass. And he's just like this really fucked up Ronald McDonald. And that's one of the brothers who are twins. The directors, the brothers are twins. And that's one of them.
So Brandon figured it would be more lighthearted going into Talk to Me for that reason.
Yes, violent for sure, because their videos on YouTube have always been violent, but like abnormally violent. But I thought it was going to be more lighthearted for sure. But whatever. If you saw the press tour for the movie, and there was the one brother that had like pink hair, I believe that's the one that was always Ronald McDonald. So it's pretty funny.
The more you know.
Indeed. So we're on, this is 2, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So my number 2 is very interesting. Everybody loved it, and it pained me a little bit to love it because it's from my pretty much my most despised director of all time now, given recent events. And it pained me to say that it was good, but unfortunately it was. And it even made me cry when I saw it in theaters, and that was Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. It was a massive surprise as well, because the second one isn't very good. Like, the first one's good. It's just a comic book movie. The second one was a huge disappointment. And then this third one comes along, and it was like an emotional like kick to my soul. You know, it's so sad, but also very uplifting, and ends up being a really great story. And it's the last thing I expected from James Gunn, who I can't
Your favorite.
stand. And I had to give him credit for it, though. You know, that's not to say that I ever will give him credit for anything ever again, but in this one particular case, I have to give him credit. It was beyond good. It was number 2 on my list. Worthy is what it was. So yeah. Not a lot of things will make me cry either. I'm not like Lucas. Like, it takes a little bit, you know.
I can't help but to feel that was more like a personal insult than like a factual statement.
I have no idea. Anytime I'm like, this movie made me cry, and Lucas is like, oh, that's saying something because I cry at everything. That's always,
I swear to fucking God, movies can get me very emotional. get very invested, you know, very sympathetic kind of, and empathetic, both those words.
Indeed. So I had to bring that up, but it usually takes quite a bit for a movie like that, especially when it's dealing with like CGI characters in these particular scenes, to actually make me feel something and tear up. But it did, and it was heavy in the kind of way that I am okay with,
that he finds palatable.
Exactly right. So now we're down to number 1.
Well, I mean, what is the one movie I haven't said yet?
Wonka. Let's
so
boogie.
So my favorite, my number 1 movie of the year is Exorcist. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
everybody. Just kidding. No,
it's kidding. The Haunted Mansion.
You caught me. Oh, it's fucking Godzilla -1. I had to pick it.
Very good.
We said it in the video. If you would have told us that, Owen, what are you doing?
Oh wow! So wait a minute, you're telling me that your favorite movie of the year isn't The Haunted Mansion?
I'm sorry, Owen. Your movie kind of sucked. I mean, you were the best part of it, though. And I'm not just saying that to make you happy. That is true.
Ka-chow! And there he goes. Everybody wave bye to Owen.
That's how Owen Wilson travels. He turns into a fucking like toupee of hair and just floats around.
Sometimes spinning on the ground.
Reminds me of the like Family Guy sketch where Peter said Ben Stiller's movies were horrible, and he flies down like Dumbo with big ears, and he goes, "How did you hear me say your movies were terrible?" And he goes, "Hello," and he points to his giant ears, and then Ben Stiller flies away with his ears.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
Oh God. Anyway, I don't know how I'm gonna cut all that up, but anyway, so yes, Godzilla -1. It became my favorite movie of the year because there's no fucking way I would have ever picked a Godzilla movie as one of my favorites of the year. Had this movie not been such a beautiful kick in the nuts. I mean, completely unexpected on every fucking front. On every front.
Yeah.
The writing, the directing, the casting, the CGI. It's $15 million budget. Like, so much went into me wanting to pick this as my movie of the year. And I've been like head over heels with that shit since I've seen this movie. And I've told everybody to go see it. It's fucking great. Yeah. Damn, what a good movie.
I think it's definitely a very popular movie, judging by, like I said, the amount of views that our video has acquired.
I was really hoping it was your number 1 too, so we could just fangirl about it together for a little bit, but
we already have an entire video about it.
Yes, we do.
So you could go
which you can check out in addition to this one.
Indeed. And we also, my number 1, we have an entire video about this one as well. It hasn't released yet. There is one with me in it, though. You could go check that out.
I did not know this was going to be your number one, you fucking little bastard.
Indeed.
I almost wish it was higher on my list just to compete with you now, but
Yes.
wow. I did not expect this to be your number one.
Indeed.
Say it, Brandon.
Well, there was the hint right here the entire time.
Well, I just figured maybe you didn't have a shirt that you wanted to wear.
I was like, I have a shirt of my number one. This is perfect. But yes, it is. It is the Flash, of course. And this is the one that requires the most explanation, I think, because so many people just tore this movie apart.
Yes,
and
yes,
I'm like, it's my number one. I don't think it ever, in fact, it didn't. I remember I always do my lists on Letterboxd, which I've mentioned before. Ever since the movie came out, I made it my number one, and it has never wavered from that spot.
No shit. Wow.
Yes. And I mean, I absolutely adore it. The only issues I have with it are the CGI at certain parts, of course. There's some really cartoonish CGI when it comes to like the Speed Force, and obviously some choices that were made towards the end, but that's not the filmmaker's fault. That's James Gunn's fault. Unfortunately, he's also the reason that Aquaman 2 has problems. So, everybody point their blame at him. But
all right.
I mean, it just gave me everything that I wanted pretty much. I think Ezra Miller knocked out of the park. I thought he was fantastic. It really, 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 really disappoints me that we almost certainly will never see him as Barry Allen ever again. Not only because of the universe changing, but also because of his legal troubles that he just can't stay on the straight and narrow. Ezra Miller. I don't know. I wish he could because he's a fantastic actor. He was so good in this movie as 2.5 characters, let's say that, because one of the characters becomes very different. Michael Keaton back as Batman was fantastic. It was the very last time that we're going to see Ben Affleck as Batman, which is very disappointing. But he went out on a bang with one of the coolest
maybe we'll get dinner
in his
next
career.
Time.
Yeah, maybe next time, kid, or whatever he said. And it's just like, oh God. Now he's stuck in a different universe. He's stuck in the Snyderverse, which is a separate universe now.
Hey, we got George Clooney though.
Yeah. Unfortunately. Like that was fine. That scene was fine. Don't get me wrong. I thought it was a funny, moment to end on. It just doesn't mean anything. It's just as a joke. But whatever. I just had so much fun with it though. Like I said in our review, which people will see eventually, I just sat there the entire time with a smile on my face, and it was the same for the Monk movie as well. And it's just very good. So, if you're like chomping at the bit to hear us talk about it, that doesn't exist as of yet, but you can listen to me talk about it. That exists. It's the non-spoiler review.
But yeah, fucking great movie. Great.
Yeah, it is a great movie. I'm happy that Lucas finally went and saw it because I was like, trust me, you're gonna want to see it. With his love of the ultimate cut of Batman v Superman, as well as the Snyder, cut.
How long did it take you to watch
Justice League?
That was the longest I'd ever had a movie in your possession, and your movie in my possession.
I don't know, like 7 months.
I don't want to say it was that long because that's embarrassingly a long time.
I lent it to you like 3 months before The Flash came out, 3 or 4 months, because I was like, you need to be prepared.
Yeah, I won't have this.
And you loved Batman v Superman so much that I'm like, you're going to love this even more. It's so good. It's long, but it's like it's a breeze to get through. And like I've watched it twice. I'm due for a third time of going back to Zack Snyder's Justice League. So I'm like, it just, and the Flash just spans off of it. It makes a point of letting you know that it's a sequel to that instead of the Justice League, because Joss Whedon is trash. And I'm like, I think you're gonna very much so enjoy it. And I was happy to be right. And I'm talking about you as if you're not here, but
as if I'm dead.
It ended up being that he started to dive a little bit into like other DC things and whatnot, and then he kind of stopped. But there is something that's coming out though, which is really cool. It's Crisis on Infinite Earths Part 1, which I'm really excited for. So, I think it might be good. I think it might be good. I don't know. We'll see. I'm excited. Basically, I don't think it's going to have anything to do with the DC EU turning into the DCU. At least I hope not. That'd be so stupid because it's an animated movie. But it's basically the reset of DC. So it's like different universes colliding, and it's like the Flash movie, but on a bigger scale. Almost. That's what Crisis on Infinite Earths is. So I don't know. I think it'll be interesting to see that animated. I'm excited for it. I think that you'll probably like it. So
of course,
I had the Steelbook pre-ordered on Amazon. So yeah.
Oh, nice. And they won't take your payment.
Correct.
Until they ship it.
This is correct. But yeah, and I hope that eventually Lucas will go and watch like Mask of the Phantasm, which is fantastic. That's looked at as like the best of the best.
I'm gonna see him at some point. Flashpoint's the one I want to see the most. We're talking about the Flash,
of course. Greatness. Flashpoint is great, which is it's a Justice League movie, but but yeah, Mask of the Phantasm, Under the Red Hood. Those are some really good ones. But yeah, and that's the thing too, is that you wanted my list that I gave you to be centered on Justice League instead of Batman, even though I'm like, listen, you got to start with Batman and then you branch off from that. And he's just like, I want Justice League. Well, that's what Crisis on Infinite Earths is. It's the entire DC universe. So really, it's right up your alley. But yeah, it was good. Nicolas Cage is disappointed as hell in his scene in the movie, which I am too. Honestly, it could have been a lot better. But it was still nice to have there. And yeah.
Number 1 of the year. Yeah, I'm shocked. Good though.
Of course. I couldn't imagine putting it anywhere else. There was just my joy that I felt with that movie. I did not feel that with anything else on my list.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the most feel-good movies of the year.
And the people out there that just won't give it a chance at all, or they somehow saw it and looked at it as an abomination, I would say go and watch it again, because
watch it on your TV. Don't watch it on your phone. Get it on 4K.
Yeah, that's a big part too. And it's just, there's something to be said for seeing it in theaters. There's tons of people that chose to not see it because they heard it was terrible or whatever, and then they waited to watch it on their phones.
I'm not pointing.
Yeah, exactly right. And then you feel differently about it because
you don't get the scope of the movie.
Yeah, it's an entire experience, and you are just selling yourself short. Honestly, you know what it's like? Seeing The Flash in theaters was like going to Disney World. Okay. It was, you had the experience, you have the smells, you have the sounds, you have just the entire experience of Disney World, right? And watching it on your phone is like watching a Disney World video on YouTube. You get the same idea, right?
Well, yeah, you get the same idea,
but you don't get the same experience.
Well, take the scene when Barry meets, future Barry. So past and future, that's how they label them in the subtitles. And he's showing off his powers. No, he's showing off his powers. He's going around the room, bouncing off the fucking walls, doing the whole part, the little thing, Speedy Gonzalez bullshit. When you're watching it in Dolby, you can hear him hit every single corner of the room and pinpoint where in the theater the sound is coming from. And then when he stops or anytime he starts to run, it builds up with the bass in the seat.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like it's a whole thing.
Yeah. It's a whole experience. And you missed out on it.
Sorry, people.
Yeah. Sorry about that. Just like Top Gun Maverick. That was, like a necessity to see that in theaters.
Yes, another
more
damn
so
fine film.
Yeah, exactly right. So, sometimes things are just massively enhanced. In fact, they're more than enhanced, they're made by the theater going experience. So,
yes.
I don't make the rules. I don't know what to tell you. Supposedly, Top Gun Maverick's getting a sequel, and I'm not into that. I'm like, leave well enough alone.
Indeed.
I don't want them to ruin it. The reason that movie was so good and so emotional was because it had been so long, since the first one.
Well, now it's a cash cow, so go fuck yourself. Anyway, Brandon,
Paramount.
Is there anything else you wanted to say?
I don't believe so.
Other than telling everybody to tell us in the comment section down below while Brandon gets the yo-yo ready. What are your top 10 movies of the year? What are your honorable mentions?
Tell us. Tell us. Do that.
Tell us how much you don't like our list of movies, because it's not the same as the conventional list. I guarantee I haven't really watched. I watched Jeremy Johns and Cody Leach's.
Jeremy Johns is on my shit list. No, I don't think I'm ever going to watch another one of his videos again, because he comes along and he tells everybody that Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom is like the worst movie ever. Like I say in my solo video, he acts like it was like a plague on humanity. And I see it and I'm like, no, it's not great, but it's not that, stop it. It's all about getting clicks on videos because you're like, it's the worst thing ever, and people want to hear that. People want to hear things that are really good or really bad. And it's like, stop using movies that aren't deserving of it. It just drives me up a wall. And I feel very differently about him now ever since that happened. But imagine if we ended every show like this was a gimmick where I just like.
It's about time. I like this.
It hurt. Yes. I was all right, it's time, everybody.
I like this. Until you move, you can't even tell that it's there. It's a little disturbing to be stuck in that permanent smile. We should make a killer mask out of Brandon. Cut the eye holes a little bigger, rip out his sideburns, spray it white. What do you think? Oh, good fucking Lord. So tell us, everybody, how upset are you that Wonka didn't make our top 10 list? Are we the only reviewers on YouTube? Oh, god damn. Now you're... Willy Wonka had a stroke. You look like you don't have teeth. You look like an old lady.
All right.
So yes, everybody, tell us how we're the only people on YouTube literally that don't have Wonka in our top 10 list.
I guarantee you that's the case.
Yep. Oh, I know. I'm not even joking, everybody. But
no.
I have to go get my brick oven pizza out of the oven.
Wonka was trash.
Yes, it was. We have a whole video talking about it.
Yes, we do. So go check that out. Anyway, obviously that's where Lucas was headed.
Yeah.
You know, comment down below, yell at us if you need to. Just remember, everybody has their own personal feelings and, you know, their own
and you know what, everybody,
with movies.
Just remember, opinions are like assholes. You are one. So shut the fuck up.
Especially if your name is Cody Leach. So, yeah, exactly right. So, you know, no judgments in the comments. Let everybody be. Everybody has different, you know, tastes. So let us know what your top 10 is. If you're mean to us, I'll make fun of your top 10 then too. Okay?
Exactly.
But just keep it going. Keep the circle going.
Keep the waste world going.
Circle of abuse or whatever. The cycle of abuse.
Yeah,
whatever.
The cycle. We can't pass on cycles of pain, Brandon. We talked about this in therapy.
Yes, together. Couples therapy.
Brandon, I'll take a page out of your book. Don't say that because people will actually believe it.
I know. All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.